And away we go. It is the Nightcap special live Friday night edition brought to you by Hail Mary Sports Bar in Cheviot. You know the drill. Hail Mary's on Harrison Avenue, right in the Dora District on the main drag. Go see our good friends. You know the deal. 27 TVs, 9-screen video wall, all the Cincinnati games on the video wall. They have a brand new draft system, brand new coolers, and best of all, they pour your drinks in 32.8 degree beer frosted glasses. So go visit our friends, Hail Mary Sports Bar in Cheviot. All right, let's get this show on the road. What a night. What a night tonight was, Justin. I'm joined, special guest appearance. I had to call in the big dog. There was a commitment, big commitment today. You got to call in the big guns when that happens. And we go with our guy, Jamal Davis, a.k.a. Justin Berg. What's up, brother? It's been a long time since you've graced these beautiful airwaves.
Well, to quote Tim Meadows in the show, I think you should leave. I've just got a lot going on business-wise. So I just locked in on that and took everything else away that was any kind of not a productive use of my time, including social media and reading about any of that stuff. So when you called me last night, I had never heard the name Keyshuan Tillery before, but about 24 hours later, I am thrilled that now I know the name Keyshuan Tillery from what I have seen, and I am excited to talk about him with you, Chad Brendel of the Bearcat Journal Podcast Network.
Hi. First off, awesome Hall of Fame ceremony tonight. Sean Kilpatrick goes in, Marty Gilliard goes in, Jordan Thompson goes in, Annette Ichinokwe goes in, Omar Cummings goes in, Vanessa Gillis goes in. Just a awesome night on campus at Fifth Third Arena, and Mick Cronin in the house, Jumping Jack, Justin Jackson in the house, Titus Rubles in the house, Cashmere Wright in the house, Kevin Johnson in the house.
Hold on, can I cut you off real quick?
Yes.
Cashmere Wright is now the my kid's Leah, her gym teacher at her elementary school, and I saw him directing traffic, and I looked out the window. He's like, "Yo, Berg, your kids goes here." He's coaching and doing that. It was great to see him. Love that guy.
Clark Montessori.
So yeah, but my kid goes to Pleasant Ridge Montessori, so he's just like chilling out, coaching doing some gym classes there during the day, and then he's coaching, I think, Clark in the evening. But yeah, that's my man, Cashmere.
So a very cool scene. It was great to catch up with those guys. We we took a couple of them into the new locker room area. They were pretty pissed. I'm not gonna lie. They were like, Justin was like, the house that I built. Like, we did this. You guys get this because we were here.
Yeah. That their senior year, he and Titus, man, they had to sweat and grind for those wins. So did Kilpatrick. Yeah. So you're right. They're right to feel like that shit.
It was awesome to see those dudes. Like that is, for me, like I was just really like getting my feet on the ground. I had been doing it for a couple years, but like that was really like when things kind of started to blow up for Bearcat Journal, and got to know all those guys really well. And Titus is always one of my favorites, and love Justin, and Cash and Kevin. We're lucky those guys are in town, so I see them a bunch. But so look forward to the podcast network here in the coming weeks, because we're gonna have some guests now that I was able to get some face-to-face time with some of these guys.
Yeah.
I think Marty is going to join us on Monday, and then working on SK joining us on Wednesday next week. So, and then I think the best thing to do, we're going to have Justin and Titus on together and do a podcast with the two of them.
Wow.
I might have to bring you back for that one.
That's actually when I started my blog, Berg on Sports. When I quit my sales job when I was about 33, and I just picked a name for, remember Dorf on Golf or whatever. That's why I thought of that. So, but that was when I first started writing about UC. I was I was covering every game just from home, and I would make a podcast at the end of the game. Like I would record Mick, and I would have my comments at the end, and I was writing, just game previews and all that shit. And that was that team that I started with. I loved that team. Like they were like, I think they won 20 straight that year to make them like 22-2 or something like that.
Yeah.
And that team was incredible. Like they were the best crunch time team ever, like on both ends of the floor. Unfortunately, against Harvard, they weren't as good on the offensive side. God damn it.
So that was all those videos are up from the pre-party when we got to interview all the inductees. So those are all up on the YouTube channel. Go like those, go subscribe, all that good stuff. But great to see all those guys, and just like a kid in a candy store for me, seeing guys that had a lot of fun covering that group, and getting to know all those guys really well. And Justin's moving up to Columbus.
Was Savino there?
No, Darren didn't make it in, but Mick was there. He probably had Savino out recruiting. Like this is
of course. Yeah, you can't.
Yeah,
exactly, for sure.
So I guess Mick got in this morning, got in 18 holes, and then he snuck in. So he walks in, and we're interviewing SK when Mick kind of walks in, and he is like standing behind us. So he hid behind the Channel 19 cameraman, and then waited while SK was answering a question. And then I was like, hey, because Sean didn't know he was coming. Sean thought he wasn't going to be able to make it because he was out in LA. So I said, hey, Sean, I got a friend of mine that wants to ask you a question. And Mick walked out from behind the Channel 19 cameraman, and they embraced and had a big hug and talked for a minute. So it was a pretty cool little Bearcat moment for the old heads.
Yeah, that's great that Mick made it, man. He's the man.
Yeah.
Most underappreciated man in Cincinnati sports history, Mick Cronin. Right?
It's right up there with Dusty Baker.
Nah.
Hey, those teams won. They didn't win enough, but they won.
What teams?
Better than but Dusty's teams.
Well, so did Mick's. I mean, they just didn't. Neither one of them made it that far, so they're kind of on equal ground. But Mick at least advanced more than at least past the first weekend once out of 8 tries. Although Dusty only had like 2 or 3 tries, so he was only 0 for 3. Mick was like 1 for what, 8 or 9?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. But he made that one and Dusty didn't, so.
Right. Let's get to it, though. The reason everybody's here. 4-star point guard, Keyshuan Tillery, gives his verbal commitment to the Cincinnati Bearcats this afternoon, late afternoon. He is right at a number 6 point guard in the class in the 247 composite. One of the fastest risers in the spring and summer. I think 51, 52, something like that in the class. A huge get for Wes Miller in this program to kick off 2025. You have been relentlessly watching as much Keyshuan Tillery content as you could find today. You have been taking notes. Let's hear Justin Berg's evaluation of the Bearcats' newest point guard.
All right, well, before I get to it, I want to start with this. I'm not here to talk about his defense today. I'm not here to talk about defense at all today. So if you want to talk about defense, then find somebody else. Because I'm looking for offense, and frankly, I see plenty of it. So I'd love to talk about that instead. It looks like he's going to be a good defender. Let's just say that, and then move to the offensive side of the ball. So all right. So I will start with his jump shot. And it's not really a jump shot. It's more of just like he establishes a base, squares, and lifts with ease. Like nice arc, nice confidence in the shot, good mechanics, not rushed, just like lines it up and just kind of jumps through it. He doesn't really jump high up in the air, but it just looks nice. So I like that. And it also looks like when I was watching some of the film, I saw a pull up, like, delayed break where he can just rise up and make it. A step back looked at least fairly fluid. I mean, they're only going to show the makes and the highlights, but he did make it. And then I saw him have a couple catch and shoots as well. And I feel like he's going to be a threat from there. And the fact that he can get to the hole so hard that the way that he can and finish with either hand, that's going to be hard to guard. Because if you got to guard him out to the 3-point line, and he has a mid-range that looks solid as well. Yeah, I think in terms of scoring the ball, and then from that, what I just immediately thought of like late shot clock. Like, here's a guy, dude, bail us out of this and either get us something for yourself that we want you to have, or pitch to an open shooter. Yeah, I mean, offensively, I like what I see.
All right. What else you got? I think the biggest thing that everybody talks about, and it's hard to see this on tape, but great leadership qualities from this kid, from everybody I've talked to. And one of the things that kind of put him on Cincinnati's radar was, you'll love this, last high school season, he plays in the NEPSAC, which is the New England Prep School League. And one of the teams that he played at New Hampton, which is where Wes Miller went to prep school. They played against St. Thomas More, which has one Kane Broom on the staff. And Tillery.
Love Kane Broom. I'm going to say it every time I ever mention his name. It's my guy.
Tillery killed him, put up like 40, and Kane Broom immediately called Wes like, hey, if this guy's not on your radar, he needs to be on your radar.
I love Kane Broom.
So when Cincinnati started actually upping their recruitment of him, Kane would always hop in the messages, like the social media comments, and be like, Bearcat, put the little red and black up and let everybody know that this was a kid that he approved of. But that's the thing that jumps out first. Great leadership qualities, really good floor general, tough as nails. And, our guys from 24/7 National, Adam Finkelstein and Eric Bossi, talked a lot about, this is a guy that could play for Bob Huggins. This is a guy that could play for Mick Cronin. He's got that.
And he has the offensive package to go with it.
Right.
Wow. Yeah. So he's around 50 or 50, somewhere in the 50s ranked right now?
Right. Just under 50. So he jumped, I think, from entering into the spring until now, he's jumped 83 spots in the rankings. That's how well he played on the EYBL circuit for Albany City Rocks. So about 14.5 points a game. You'll like this Berg. He was number 2 in the EYBL, 6.5 assists per game.
Yeah.
38% from 3. So he is a guy that is on the upswing.
This guy looks like a guy for sure. So yeah, you mentioned his leadership. I was going to ask you about his intangibles. I mean, it seems like from the quotes that I read, he has a work ethic, no ego, competitive, and leadership. Those seem like that's what you would want out of your point guard. And you, again, package that with a scoring package that he has. Damn. Okay. So I have some other stuff in here if you want me to get to it.
Yes, go ahead. Rock it out.
All right. Before I do that, do you need any trees cut down, or anyone listening? Chad, do you have any trees you need to cut down?
I actually don't have a single tree in my yard, Berg.
Okay. So
it's I love it. It's so great.
Nice.
I don't have to rake leaves. I don't have to do nothing.
Yeah. All right. Right on. That's a solid approach. That minimizes, for work for you for sure. Great idea. But if anyone else needs one cut down, out on a limb in Blue Ash, my guy Anatole, out on a limb. All right. Floor general. UC has had some point guards that have been score first. They've had pretty decent floor generals, I feel like, over the years. Where you're like, dude, at the end of the clock or just in a big spot, this dude's going to get you what you need every time down.
Right.
I don't know if they've had a lot of those guys. We've had good shooting guards, some low post players over the years, but not a lot of floor generals. And this guy appears that he could be that. Can he, again, he can break his defender down late in the clock. He has a pull up mid range. He can attack the rim. He can finish with either hand. and
And
he
on
knows
both sides of the rim.
That's what I'm saying. He feels where the defender is, and he can handle that. And then it looks like he can push the ball, finish, or leave it for somebody. Like if he gets the advantage, like if he's in the open floor, even if he doesn't have the advantage, he'll try to beat the first guy and see what happens. And I assume he'll get fouled a fair bit because he's a tough dude and he's strong. I mean, his shot looks good enough that he should be a good free throw shooter. Is that what you've heard or you've seen?
Yeah, it looks that way.
Yeah,
I only saw him a little bit. I think I saw City Rocks twice, and this was kind of just when they were starting to make their push on him. And yeah, I didn't. The free throw stuff team.
City Rock sounds like a UGK song.
Well, it's Albany. So for what Albany City Rocks is the AAU
I know.
program.
I'm just saying their team name sounds like a UGK song. Okay, continue.
Okay. Yes, I anticipate him being a good free throw shooter.
Right. Okay. So I mean, all right. So what are his potential weaknesses? Because from what I see, he's got everything you would want out of a point guard. And then you mentioned something that Drew Adams said to you.
Just they're very high on him.
Right.
Thinks that it's not the keyboard. I think it's his the earphones clicking against his beard. The microphone. You're getting a little clicking noise.
Oh,
but
I am. Okay.
Yeah, you're not clicking the keyboard, are you?
I'm not doing anything. It's just my phone and my pods, and I've got some paperwork here. That's all that's happening.
So when you're moving, the microphone is clicking your beard a little bit. But Brian, you'll be okay. You'll get over it. This is a working class man. This is a man that by day is busy running a very successful lawn care company. Landscaping company.
Yeah, lawn care is one of the three divisions: groundskeeping, landscaping, and then projects. That's our three divisions.
Yeah. So it's okay, Brian. You'll be all right.
Yeah.
I don't know, Berg. Like I think he's gonna take. Obviously, he'll be a freshman when he gets here, like most high school kids. Probably defense is gonna take a little time. But that's standard, right? Like to play defense at the college level, it's going to take you a little while.
Yeah, I mean, as long as he has effort. Yeah, as long as he has effort, which I'm sure he will. I mean, that's all I need. And then he'll make some mistakes, but he'll make up for it by getting you buckets on the other end.
I mean, he's 6 foot, 5'11", 6 foot. He's probably not going to be a great rebounder, but you don't expect him to be a great rebounder.
He does. Yeah, he won't need to be.
I don't sense a lot of I don't sense any one specific thing where I'm like, this is going to take a while for him to get up to speed, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that he's great at any one thing, but he's really good at most everything. I think that's the type of, sometimes you get a guy that's an elite offensive talent, but's got a long way to go on defense, or a guy that's relentless on defense, but doesn't quite have a great scoring.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Arsenal, there's not a whole lot of weakness in his game.
Damn. Okay. Well, that's quite a way to start this class. So let's say no underclassmen go after this year, which there are the potential that a few could or a couple could. But if they don't, how many other scholarships could they sign at this point for next year?
I have no clue.
I guess because it doesn't matter. Because I'm just thinking high school wise, you're not getting a lot of high school guys. This might be it, or is there a couple more potential?
No, so there's 2 top 30 wings that they're in on really well.
Okay.
One of them.
I like
one
the
of
sound
them
of that.
One of them is his name's Davion Hanna.
I like the sound of Davion. Okay.
He's out of Milwaukee.
All right.
He's 6'5", 6'6".
Hammer off 2 feet.
He's super athletic. He is and this is probably what will take him the most time to adjust to in college. He is a very tough shot maker.
Okay.
Meaning he makes a lot of contested shots. That takes a while to adjust at the college level because the defense is longer, stronger, more athletic. Like you're not going to get those shots off as smoothly.
Are you saying he doesn't create enough space to get good looks? He just takes tough ones?
No, he does.
Okay.
He's one of those dudes that like he ain't afraid to just rise up and try to shoot it right in your eye.
Okay.
So and at the high school level right now, and eventually farther down into his career as he adjusts, he makes a lot of them.
Yeah.
He's going to have to learn early in his career, take the open ones and maybe dial down the contested ones a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Like make the extra pass. Like he's going to have to learn a little bit of that, but he's a very, very skilled offensive player.
Good.
Can shoot the three at a high level, super athletic. And then the other one is named
top
Sean
30,
Abev.
you said? Sorry, that guy was top 30. Okay. And this next guy that you're going to say is also top 30?
Yes.
And he's also a wing?
Yes.
Okay.
They're not going to get both of them. Like it just
that's all right.
They don't have enough money for both of them. They're both the top 30 guys are going for.
Tell me the other one, and I'll tell you who I'd rather spend the money on.
Sean Abev is the other one. He is out of Florida in Miami, and he is maybe one of the 2 or 3 most gifted offensive wings in the class. Can shoot from 3 at a high clip, can score up the bounce, has a mid-range game. He's going to need a little work defensively, but he is a guy that you can give the ball to, and he is going to get you buckets. So in terms of like who I think would be ready, like walk on campus and be ready, I think Abev is maybe just a slight bit ahead. But I think long-term, Hannah, like as he adjusts, is going to – I think both of them are going to very likely be NBA level wings when their college days are done.
Jesus. What was this? So spell this guy's last name?
Shon Abeaev.
Oh, Abev?
Abeaev.
What kind of roots does that have? Okay.
I have no idea.
All right. I like the SHON on that guy. So then the other guy's name was Davion Hannah?
Yeah.
Damn. And they can both just, if they have room, they'll just crush the rim.
Hannah is more athletic than Abev, I think.
But Abev is the better shooter.
Better shooter, better scorer.
All right. I'll take him.
Okay.
So, I mean, I think you can sense my theme. I mean, I'm fed up with talking about defense anymore. I get it. We can have a good defensive program. We've done it. Like last year, they were like 17th or something. Mm-hmm. But it was like, all right, it's enough of that. I'd rather have like the 42nd defense if you can have the 17th offense at some point in my life. I need it. I'd prefer it. So it seems like the staff is doing that, so I'm okay with it so far, and I'm interested to see if it can happen.
And then they are still pursuing another point guard because you'll have Day Thomas and Connor Hickman will both be seniors. So they are in their last year of eligibility.
Jeez, dude, they got a lot of firepower this year.
Yeah.
They got a lot of firepower this year.
They are looking to bring in also at point guard a top 75 kid named Jalen Reese, also out of Florida, who is more of a floor general, tough defender, good passer, super competitive. Maybe it doesn't have as much scoring pop as Tillery. Scores a lot more at the high school level than he did at the AAU level, but another, top 100 4-star level guard that his dad is Steve Reese. Do you know the name Alicia Reese?
No, not right off the whip like that, but it sounds familiar.
She's a politician in Cincinnati. And she's been on city council and whatever. That's her nephew is Jalen Reese. So their family has been in politics in Cincinnati for years and years and years and years and years. Their family is deeply rooted in Cincinnati.
And Jalen Reese is ranked where?
Like 72.
Okay. Wow. So those two dudes, wow, yeah. I mean, so they have enough room to get all those guys, or I guess they can just jettison other people if they don't need them, or
There's
I don't know.
there's always room.
I know.
Like, yeah, that's
All
the way
right,
it
so
works anymore. And now, Berg, I don't even know if you know this. You're allowed to have 15 scholarship players. They up the scholarship number by 2.
did not know that.
So the numbers just don't matter anymore.
Okay.
And they've got
So
14 guys this year, but one of them's on NIL scholarship. That's a new thing, NIL scholarship.
wow, that's weird. So we're talking about Keyshuan Tillery, a point guard for 2025, but in 2024, you have Jizzle James as your point guard. So
And Day Thomas and Connor Hickman that can play both.
wow. Okay. So let's look. Can we get into Jizzle James a bit, because the way we finished last season, he was just letting it rip, and he was hard to stop. And so, how's he looking from what you've seen in your time watching
Really
the team? Good. Okay.
Really good. He's having a really good offseason. Like he's comfortable. He's not trying to find his way anymore. I think that was the biggest thing about last year is he was, you're a freshman. You're trying to incorporate your game at the college level and see what you can do. And he's ready to rip.
Man. And Day on defense as also in that slot. So if you're facing a point guard that's hurting you, just put Day's ass on him. That's a great thing. That's a great thing for us to have. And then and Hickman, if you had to, if there's foul trouble, he could run the show.
Yes.
That's wow. Okay. Quite a point guard situation. And then having a dude like Keyshuan Tillery come in. I mean, again, I think a lot of the issues the last 25 years for Cincinnati has been they just didn't quite have the point guard that year. It's just how it's been. In terms of beating Xavier, that's what I meant.
Who? I don't.
Well, they keep losing to him because Xavier's point guard plays better than Cincinnati's. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, whatever. Why'd you have to bring the vibes down, Berg? Jeez.
I told you I have a couple bones to pick, and it's the one is I don't want to hear about defense anymore. Number two is like point guards has always been. I feel like they're slight weakness. I mean, here we go from what we're saying. I'm excited now. I'm bringing the vibes back up. I'm pumped about what they have this year and with Tillery coming in next year and potentially Jalen Reese.
What is Wes Miller? What position did Wes Miller play in college?
Yeah, I know.
Point guard.
Yeah.
So, that's going to be a big thing for him is getting point guard right. And I think they're in the best spot that they've been in a long time in terms of now and looking forward. There's people that think that Tillery could be the most overall talented guy they've landed in the Wes Miller era.
Okay. Which means that if they're trying to land a couple other guys and they're like, oh, you got that dude, I'll come too, because that guy's going to be something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's major. Okay. So can we go? So we just did the point guard. So wings, Dan Skillings Jr. I keep hearing these little NBA. Even I think Franford Schilla mentioned NBA for this kid, and I was talking about it with a buddy of mine, Dave Schwab, and we were saying, could he be? And it was like, well, look, in the NBA you need pluses, right? You need to be like a plus something,
right?
And he is a plus rebounder for a guard. I mean, that already that's something to build off of that like other people won't provide. So if he can get his shooting numbers up to a level that makes sense, I mean, they'll see that he's athletic enough. He's raw. I mean, he's going to take some player development because he's late on his skill development. But like, I could see the chance. I don't know if he would have to play pretty well to get drafted there, right? It's only 2 rounds. It's hard.
Yeah, but I mean, the plus side of that now is, Berg, you're in a league where if you play well, the NBA is going to notice. Like
That's very true.
It is the best league in college basketball. No more like, well, he did it against the American, right?
Talking American.
Right. Like this is going to be, if he has an all-conference type season, he's doing it in the greatest conference in the country, and it's going to turn people's heads. So
right.
That's going to be up to Dan.
Yeah. I mean, he's gonna have to take good looks from three, and I think if he can get, into the mid to high 30s, he would have. I mean, he would definitely have a look.
Yes,
because he had some moments last season where, like, dude, he was working it, like he was working them, like he was getting in, dunking left-handed and hitting some big threes. Like, I think it was the game at Baylor. He had that second half little spurt there where it was like, damn, this dude looks like he should be on a Baylor. Like, that's how good he is. Like, Cincinnati's level of talent now is with Wes Miller has raised to the level of the Big 12.
Yes,
It feels like. And you know what? That one time we were at that peach, not the peach jam, but the other thing in Georgia that I met you at, and Mick was there, and he was like, dude, we're in the AAC. Like, because we were talking about recruiting. He's like, it's a hard sell. I mean, when these guys can go to all these huge leagues and Big Ten and all these places, it makes a difference. Now that we're Big 12, yeah, Wes has more opportunities.
And guys want to, I mean, it's, that's the thing. Like, guys want to play in this league. That nobody wanted to play in the American. You played in the American if that was your best option.
That's what I'm saying. Or exactly.
Nobody grew up dreaming of playing in the American Athletic.
Yeah, you take no baby that's ever been born or kid has ever been like, God, I want to play in the American someday.
What do you want to do with your life? I want to play basketball in the American Athletic Conference. Said
Jesus.
Absolutely no one ever.
God.
So
that was a rough. How many years were we in that league? Like 10?
10, yeah.
Oh man. That was like a 10-year bad wipe. Jesus.
10 years lost in the wilderness is what I always call it. Just roaming in the woods, trying to find your way out. And they found their way out.
Yeah.
But that's, that's the thing for Dan, is he's going to have the chance if he worked and got. The biggest thing with him is consistency, right? Like, the flashes are there. And that's not correct, Brian. In the old Big East, Yancey Gates, Kashmir Wright, Lance Stevenson, like, there were plenty of high-level wins for Mick Cronin on the recruiting front in the old Big East.
Yep.
In the American, it was a lot harder than it was getting people to play in the Big East. So let's not over exaggerate the situation. But yeah, Dan's got everything in front of him. If he can be a little bit more, if he can cut down on bad Dan and be a little bit more consistent with, what we saw against Kansas and what we saw, some towards the end of the season, then, he's a guy that's going to get you on a bad night 11, 12, 13 points, and on a good night he's going to get you 24. And that makes you an NBA talent.
Here, if I was sitting next to Dan Skillings Jr. right now, I would tell him two things. I would say these would be my only 2 goals of the year, because everything else will fall into place. I would say, number one, I want to try to average 10 rebounds a game. That would turn some heads if a guard could do that, and I think he could do that. I mean, that would be on my list. And then the other thing I would tell him is, when you are driving the basketball, you must learn to play off of 2 feet.
2 feet.
If you can do
2 hands, 2 feet.
If you can do that, you will be so much more valuable. Those 2 things would put you in the conversation and would give you a much better chance than if you just, had a lot of those off 1 foot, raw looking things that, like, the scouts are like, oh, this guy's not ready. If you could eliminate those and you could just gather and just go up strong. Like, remember that Harvard game on that, not Harvard, Howard game last year on that, it was like on ESPN, whatever app, and it was a weird camera angle, but he had a play where early in the game, it was like on the left baseline, and both guys were going for the ball, and he spun to his left, and he found himself like at the block, looking up at the rim off 2 feet, and he just jumped up and two-handed it really easily. I had not seen him do really much two-handed stuff off 2 feet with some power like that. Dude, he can become a decent free throw shooter. He needs to go to just gather, get some contact, And then if he has room, just hammer it. But he can't go in there wild like he does now.
Yeah,
If he could do those two things, I feel like he'd have a shot.
correct.
Okay.
I agree.
So then who else would be playing the wing? Because I feel like Seamoss is more of a 4 now. Four guard, a 4, like a power forward point guard.
Well, that part is going to be interesting because you also have Dylan Mitchell, who is more of a 4 than a 5, more of a 4 than a 3.
Yeah.
So, he's going to log a lot of minutes at the 4. I think you could see Seamoss at the 3 more than we did last year.
Okay. And if you're worried about him defensively, you got Aziz back there or Dylan Mitchell. So, it wouldn't be as much of a concern to put him at the 3 because I like to be quicker. Like I feel like it's been a while since we've been quicker than the other team, and I feel like if you played the 2 point guards and Skillings together, I mean, they just be able to push and pressure and Day can shoot well enough that you have to check him, and I don't know. I mean, I want to see that.
I mean,
and then
here's the problem
Seamoss
with
at the
that,
4, and Seamoss at the 4 gives you so much more spacing and playmaking, and then you'd have to do either Aziz or Dylan Mitchell.
Here's the problem with that, Justin. And maybe this is better this year. We will see. But Jizzle James, Day Thomas, and Dan Skillings all shot under 30% from 3 last year.
I know. It's a concern.
Having all 3 of them on the floor, you're not going to have great spacing unless they all step up their game and get to the mid-30s.
That's a good point. Okay. All right. I concede that one. So take Day out. So you got Jizzle. So here, let's figure out what their crunch time line will be. If there was a game tomorrow and they were playing, at Providence and there was 4 minutes to go and it was like a 1 possession game, who would their 5 be?
Jizzle James. Dan Skillings is going to be on the floor.
Right.
Aziz is probably going to be on the floor. I mean, I'm really interested in seeing what Connor Hickman adds to this roster. 40% three-point shooter. He's much more athletic than you think of when you think of, let's be honest, 6'3" white kid. He's got a 40-inch vertical. He can put the ball on the floor and attack the rim. He's got a mid-range game. He can really shoot free throws.
He seems to have feel for the game. Is that correct? Okay,
yes.
We need as much of that as we can get.
So, I'm interested in what he provides. The question with CJ Frederick is he going to be healthy? If he is healthy, he's one of the best shooters in college basketball.
Over his 46% at Iowa.
So I don't know. I mean, Dylan Mitchell is maybe the most talented kid on the team. You have to think he's going to be on the floor. Seamoss Seamoss is your closer from last year. He's going to be on the floor. Wesco had some tough decisions because there's a lot of guys that are top of the roster talent. Yeah. And top of the roster Big 12 level talent. You know what I mean? It's going to be interesting as we go through the non-conference portion to see how some of this stuff kind of works itself out.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the Aziz and Dylan Mitchell on this floor at the same time, 2 non-shooters, would be concerning, especially because, like you said, at least 1 or maybe 2 of the other wings on the floor or guards, perimeter players are going to be 30 or less 3-pointer last year. So that's all of a sudden that's some slim spacing you got there,
right?
So you would look at. Late in the game, you might have to just switch back and forth or just go with Dylan Mitchell. If Dylan Mitchell can protect the rim as well as Aziz, you go with him in the crunch time.
Dylan Mitchell cannot protect the rim as well as Aziz.
No. Okay, but
Aziz is one of the best rim protectors in the country.
I know. I'm just saying, if he can at least do it at a level that's passable, that it's effective, you could have him play. But then you also have the guy from USC.
Yeah, I think where Arrington Page fits in is going to be interesting. I think it's going to be just as a backup to Aziz, in that 15 to 20 minute range, unless he, proves He's taken a leap in this offseason.
I mean, is he 6'11"?
Yes.
Was he top 65 in his class?
Yes.
Okay. So was Aziz top 65 in his class?
That doesn't mean, come on, Berg. You know that doesn't mean shit.
I'm just saying it's possible that he might have so much talent that he forces himself on the floor. We don't know this. We don't know what's going to happen. Maybe he will be a backup, and that's fine. But he appears to at least have the potential to be like, hey, man, Arlington Page should be playing. Like, dude, this guy. So, or do you vehemently disagree with that, or do you passively disagree with that?
I disagree with that.
Okay.
I just think I don't think he's going to be ready to be a like 25-minute crunch time type guy yet. Personally, we'll see.
That's fine. Anyway, I just forgot. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Arlington Page, we have him. I mean,
yes, he is. I think he's going to have a role. I just don't know in final 5 minutes of a game if that's going to be part of that role.
Oh, yeah. So I know. Final 5 minutes, of course not, but he still feels like he could be. So, okay. So, final 5 minutes, that's what we're focused on. So, yeah. I mean,
that's what you asked me.
Yeah, I know. The point is Wes has a tough call there in the front court because CMOS needs to play the 4 sometimes for you to have the type of lineup you need out there. So, it's like, he's going to have a hard decision there. And then you have all these, younger fellas in the background. Josh Reed came back. You got who has a great feel. I mean, he has great feel. He sure does. Like he has a position on the team in certain instances. And then you've got the 2 Tylers, CJ Frederick potentially coming in to just pop a few. And who else am I forgetting?
I think that's pretty much Tyler Betsy, who.
Well, I said the Tylers, yeah.
Okay.
Both Tylers, yeah.
Tyler Betsy,
is Tyler Betsy looking good?
Yeah.
Oh, is he? Okay. He was. Yeah. Where was he ranked in the 20s or 30s or something like that?
30 might have ended up in the 40s at one point in time. I think he was as high as like 25, 26.
What's he doing that's looking good?
He can shoot it, boy.
Oh, good. And he's 6'8"?
Yeah. And Rayvon.
Oh, Rayvon. Sorry, Rayvon, if you're listening, my bad. That's how many bodies Wes has to deal with right now. Like, man, deciding playing time in this shit. Whew. That's a tough one.
And then, the secret weapon that's not allowed to play this year. You probably don't even know this name. Halvin Zella.
Halvin?
HALVINE DZELLAT. Halvin Zella.
Oh my God, who is this?
He's a French big man. He is redshirting this year. He was on the French 20 and under Eurobasket championship team. He was the captain of said team.
How tall is he?
6'10".
Can he shoot threes?
No.
Oh.
He's more of a defense guy. 6'10",
well,
230.
then I'm not as excited as I originally would have been. Okay.
But he's out. He doesn't play. He'll be here next year.
So he'll be here with Keyshuan, Tillery, and probably not Jizzle James.
I mean,
from what you've seen, there is a chance.
I think Jizzle's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Maybe not the problem, but a problem.
For sure. Okay. Right on. Well, I mean, I've been in mode of like, I need to focus on certain things right now. I've been eliminating distractions like social media and reading about stuff that's not going to happen for a few months. So I'm glad to have connected with you and get locked into what is happening. One of the things that's been happening on my end, which I think you'll appreciate, is this. So I saw the Wu-Tang show on Hulu last year. It was incredible. So I've been listening to Wu-Tang more than I ever did when I was in that era. And my kids now are 6 and 4. Leah is 6, Isaac is 4. I take them to school every morning, and I pick them back up from school every morning. And I was listening to Protect Your Neck. They have a clean version on YouTube. One time I just threw it on there to see if they would like it because I just wanted to hear it. And lo and behold, every car trip back and forth for about like 4.5 weeks. They wanted to hear "Protect Your Neck." They learn the lyrics. My daughter Leah will come up to you, and she'll be like, "I get real deep like a threat, blow up your project, and take all your assets." So that has happened. That is something that has happened since I've last spoken to you. And they just walk around the house and they'll just be firing off bars from "Protect Your Neck." My 6-year-old and my 4-year-old.
There's probably not many clean versions of Wu-Tang out there.
Yeah, the one on YouTube, they bleep them, but they actually left one shit in there. So my daughter does know. She already, she says way worse than that, but she'll be like, "Bump shit like math." 6-year-old.
Oh boy. Well, mine's 14 and her favorite word is fuck. So,
well, mine's 6 and that's her favorite word too.
All right, man. It's late.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I know you probably are they early risers?
Actually, they're at my dad's tonight, and
Oh.
Lauren's sleeping. So I have a little Berg time to just think about the business a little from a different perspective with the little strawberry cookies diesel that you can get legally now at the dispensary down there, the sunny side. See, and I've been getting stuff for Lauren on the medical side, and every so often I'll just grab a vape from there, and it's nice. It's just a couple of those will be fine. It's just like it's legal now. Is it weird that like you would think like before maybe you wouldn't want to like admit that you did it on the air or whatever, but it's like, well, it's legal now, so who cares? Strange turn of events in our lifetime. You can just go down the street and order from a menu of the type of stuff. Before, when think about like 20 or 30 years ago, how brown it could be sometimes when you're in high school and you're like, no, I'm not buying that. But you're like, well, do we have any other option? No, we have to buy this. Headache Central after like 25 minutes when it wore off. Now you can go get anything you want. It's wild.
Oh boy. All right. Well, I'll let you. Tiger's ready to. I think he wants some food. I had them locked up in the crate, but Tiger's allowed to stay out. So
yeah,
I gotta get them food and get them.
One last thing.
Okay.
One last thing we haven't done in a few years is have me at a game. I think I've missed 2, 3 years, 4.
I think 3 years.
Yeah. So
well, I mean, before the pandemic, right?
Pretty much.
The last time you were around.
Pretty much the Mick era was when I was around. I was never around.
2018. That's 6 years ago, Berg.
I haven't been to a game like on the Bearcat Journal side in that long.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, let's see if we can make it happen.
All right, I can make it happen.
Okay.
I got that kind of juice. I can make things happen.
I know.
You are a contributor. You do work here, kind of.
I am.
Officially.
I am the Jewish Jamal Davis. I can hit face up 15 to 22 footers with ease, just like Jamal Davis did. I'm so still bummed that team didn't get to go further. They had what a perfectly constructed team. Why did UCLA have to make 5 horseshit things in that game? Oh my God! Banked 3 from the corner. All right, I don't want to end on a sour note. But yeah, man, great to reconnect with you. How about let's do another one of these, after a few games in the season.
All right, we will. Good to see you, brother. It is great catching up. That's going to wrap it up. We will see you next time. That is the Nightcap Special Edition with my main man, Justin Berg.